Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting really close to college football, and you know what that means. Today, we're going to be going over the 2023 South Carolina Gamecocks schedule as voted by you guys. We still have one more. We still have the Missouri one after this one. I'll try to get that one out as soon as possible. But without further ado, let's get into it. In week one, South Carolina versus North Carolina at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is a neutral site game. This I don't know if people would really consider this a rivalry game or not. You know, these two teams have played every now and again, every couple of seasons, and I really like to see like a North Carolina versus South Carolina game. I do have South Carolina winning slightly. North Carolina's defense has been known to give up a lot of points, especially last season. Their offense is really good, but I do feel like that South Carolina's defense is going to be able to stop their offense, and North Carolina's defense is not going to be able to stop South Carolina's offense. I think Spencer Rattler goes off. It'll be a lot closer than people expect, but do give me South Carolina to win this one. And then in week two, you have South Carolina versus Furman. This is another one of those easy FCS games for any really big Division I team. Do give me South Carolina to defeat Furman in this one. And then in week three, you have... I don't understand how this game got the 2:30 CBS slot. You have Georgia. I mean, last season when these two teams played, oh my goodness gracious, Georgia absolutely just demolished the Gamecocks, and they left them just embarrassed. They beat them 48-7. Give me Georgia to win this one. I don't think anybody's beating Georgia, and I don't think anybody's coming close, at least in the regular season this year. Do give me Georgia. Georgia's schedule is just way too easy. And then in week four, you have Mississippi State and South Carolina. This is a game that a lot of people should really be paying attention to. This is an interdivisional game. I do have South Carolina winning this one. I do think that Mississippi State I think that their offense is going to be off a little bit. They're going to be trying the running game, so I've heard. Will Rogers is not the promised starter, although I think he should be. Just not with what they seem to be going with their new offense. You know, Zach Arnett, the former defensive coordinator, now becoming head coach, is a defensive guy. But that's really the only promise we know is Mississippi State's defense. And they were mediocre at best maybe last year. But we do not know how the offense is. And just to be safe, I am going to go with South Carolina because we do know how their offense is against bad defenses. And it's just all going to be up to Mississippi State's offense. But for right now, do give me South Carolina to win this one. And then September 30th in week 5, you have Tennessee versus South Carolina at Tennessee. This is going to be in Knoxville. Tennessee last year did go 11-2. But when these two teams did play last year, South Carolina was one of the teams to just absolutely demolish Tennessee. Do give me Tennessee to win this one in the rematch. I think that they're going to come prepared defense-wise, and I think they're going to come prepared offense-wise. You know, there was no doubt on Tennessee's offense, but oh my gosh, was there a lot of doubt on their defense? I think since this game that'll be in Tennessee, I think that they're going to have a bit of a home advantage. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as it was last season, obviously. There was like over 90 points scored. But do give me Tennessee to win this one. And then you have the bye week, and then you have Florida versus South Carolina. And I don't think you guys are going to be happy with me on this one, but I do have the Gators winning this one. Florida's defense has improved majorly over the offseason, and now the offense is really the big question for Florida. If you watch Florida's spring game, there was not many points scored. It was all defensive. And I think that this is going to be the game that Florida comes in an away game where they're probably not going to be the favorite, but they're probably going to win this one. I think a lot of you are going to disagree, but like I said, it's just a prediction. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just a prediction, okay? No reason to get mad at me in the comments, okay? I do have Florida winning this one. It could change a whole lot by the time this game gets played. So give me a loss for South Carolina. And then October 21st, you have Missouri and South Carolina in Missouri. Now, last season, Missouri had a kind of mediocre season. They did have a really, really close game with Georgia. They had a close game with Florida, close game with Auburn, close game with Kentucky. This was a team with multiple one-score games that could have made them a really good record. So I think that they're a better team than what their record shows, but they're still not that great. I mean, they did struggle with Auburn. I mean, Auburn last year was probably the second to worst team in the entire conference. Do give me South Carolina to win this one, though. I do think that South Carolina's offense is going to come in and shock Missouri's defense. I think that they're just going to air it out, run the ball back and forth. Expect a lot of play action. I think that there's going to be a lot of play action passes in this game. So do give me South Carolina. And then October 28th, you have South Carolina at Texas A&M. Another interdivisional game that I think will also turn a lot of heads to watch. Now, I do not have Texas A&M being a good team this season. I think they go 4-8 with a possibility of 6-6 at best. Now, Texas A&M is not really that great. I do have South Carolina winning this one. Their defense is not good. Their offense wasn't good. Lost a lot of transfers. They had to dip in the transfer portal. I think Jimbo Fisher gets fired this season. Do give me South Carolina. And then November 4th, you have the new Division I FBS team, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. November 4th in Columbia, South Carolina. This is another one of those lower, smaller teams. Do give me South Carolina to win this one. It's pretty obvious. I mean, Jacksonville State did beat Florida State a couple of years ago, so you never really know, but this is SEC team, and I don't think an SEC team has lost to an FBS or FCS team. Well, I'm not going to call them FCS because they're FBS now, but you know what I mean, since like Florida lost to Georgia Southern years and years ago. So give me South Carolina. And then November 11th, you have Vanderbilt at South Carolina. It's Vanderbilt. Their defense isn't all that great, although I do think that they're going to improve slightly this season, maybe a win more. I do have South Carolina. Spencer Rattler, he can run, he can pass. He's a really good quarterback. It's a senior year. I think that they defeat Vanderbilt. And then November 18th, you have South Carolina and Kentucky. Now, Kentucky's kind of an odd one. You know, they started last season doing really, really good. And then they finished, I wouldn't say really, really bad, but I think a lot of people could have argued that. They went 6-7, but they started the year off 4-0, and 4-1, 4-2, 5-2. And just the rest of the season, they just completely fell apart, losing to Vanderbilt too. I do have South Carolina winning this one. Now, when these two teams did play last year, South Carolina did win by a score of 24-14, and it was in Lexington. This year will be in South Carolina. Do give me South Carolina to win this one. And then in rivalry week, you have Clemson versus South Carolina in the rematch from last year. South Carolina did win 31-30 in a one-score game. That was 1 week after upsetting Tennessee, and then they upset Clemson again. And then we really wanted to see them defeat Notre Dame at the Gator Bowl. I do have South Carolina defeating Clemson. I do think Clemson is on the downslope. I don't think that they're the dynasty that everybody expected them to be anymore. You know, everybody thought they were going to replace Alabama as the top-tier program in the country. I think they're on the downward slope, and I do think that South Carolina does win this one. I think Spencer Rattler is going to do even better this season than he did last season, and I think that these wins are really going to show it. So for a final record prediction, I do have South Carolina going 9-3. I do think that's a really respectable record. I think that they could easily go 10-2, maybe 8-4 at worst. But I think 9-3 is the average for them right now. The Florida game's kind of a mix-up, but I think the Georgia and Tennessee games, those are huge away games for them. But the only thing that really gives me hope for South Carolina is that they do have a bye week before Florida. I think that they can come prepared. I still think Florida gets the job done. But we all don't know anything, do we? We still have a whole season to watch. I could either eat my words or I could be right. I could be half right. Who knows? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe. Follow my Twitter and Instagram. The names are in the description below. And I will see you guys later.